Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm the Gnarly Gnome. This is the Weekly Pint, and man, my lights are just always so messed up. I'll figure this whole thing out. I'm going to drink some Geist tea. This is the show that is not a show, and what that means is when I am, 50 minutes late for starting it, it's okay, because since it's not a show, you can't get mad. Julia says, shotgun that. That's not going to happen. I am not Shift Beers. They're a show. I'm not. That's the difference. I am, however, going to drink it. Because this is not a show, we just kind of hang out together. And at some point, we're going to need to talk about that, about the fact that this is not a show. This is not the week for it, but we're getting a little more structured as things go, and we're trying to kind of make this something that people want to watch, not just live because they enjoy hanging out and having a beer, whatever, a tea, or whatever you happen to be drinking with us. It's gonna kind of turn into something else, and I'm not ready to talk about it yet until I know that we can logistically make things happen the way I want them to happen, but we're going to have to talk about it. Let's see. Marco says, be careful giving these to hobos. Luckily, there are no hobos here in the basement. Oh, there's one hobo, but no hobos that are going to drink one and vomit all over the floor. Josh says, hi, all. He's drinking a Pixel from Rheingeist today. I had one of those the other day. It was good. I also had the, that's for a different episode. There's some really good stuff that I've had from Rheingeist lately that I can't talk about yet. But yeah, let me dive into to Geist tea for a second. Everybody else, as you're jumping on, tell us what you're drinking. We'll explain why in just a second. I love this. It's so good. They nailed it. So the point of all of this that we do here on Monday nights is for us, for all of us to just kind of hang out and have a drink together, talk about what's been going on in a very kind of laid back, relaxed atmosphere. With that, everybody has to talk about what they're drinking. Josh says Geist tea. He says Geist team, which sounds like a good team, with a lemon blocks is a favorite of mine. That sounds good. I'm pretty confident that there is a lemon blocks upstairs in the freezer. Not 100% sure, and I'm also not sure if my wife is listening. If she is, I could use a lemon blocks to put in this just to see if that's a real thing. However, I'm not going to text her because she probably just sat down from a really, really, really miserable day. Not miserable. Miserable is a bad word. She had everybody over today. So this weekend, we're wrapping up before we dive into all of the actual topics, we'll talk about my life. Well, before we do that, we got to talk about how you interact with the show. This is why this is not a show, because I can't manage all of this. You can call in. There's the drunk line, which is right here on the screen over here. 567-70-DRINK. You can call in 567-703-7465. It's right there. You can call into the show, or you can just type wherever you like to listen to the show, and that pops up on everybody's screen. That's right there. This may start to look a little different in the near future. I'm going to try to fix that and make it a little more exciting. When people comment, it'll pop up. Maybe. Maybe. If I have time, I might kind of rework the way this looks. I shouldn't say that out loud. Julia says, it sounds like you need a laminated, not a show sheet. I wish you guys could see my not laminated, not a show sheet. I have, I got all kinds of notes. Like, they're in front of me right here. So you guys are there on the camera. Although I feel like this is just all off. Everything's off. And now it's really bright. Hang on. It's over here. Turn that down a little bit. That's off. So you guys are right there. Underneath of you, here is my notes on a screen. So I have a screen there with my notes, and then over there, that's where you guys talk to me. And then over here, here's where I see what you guys are seeing. So this is where my camera view and all of that stuff pops up. And then over here, that's where all my buttons are, so I can change what you guys see. I have laminated show sheets. You guys just don't know about it. I'm all tangled up in everything. So I had, what was it, 2 weeks ago, something like that. Little Gnome was hanging out down here, and so I gave her headphones. So now there's this random long cord just hanging out on the floor, so I can plug a random person in. There's no blocks coming down the stairs, so I assume my wife is not listening. Oh, man, I want to text her right now, and I feel like that's a bad idea. Should we call her? Oh, this is a bad idea. I'm going to get in trouble. That's okay. Let's pipe that up. Let's call her. Let's see. This is bad. I know there are blocks in the freezer. Maybe she'll want to try it, and I can pretend like it's some kind of, like a thing that I'm doing for her, right?
Hello.
Hi. You're beautiful. You know that, right?
What do you need?
So in the freezer, I know we have some kind of blocks. You know, blocks, the little frozen guys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if there's a lemon one in there?
I don't know. Let me go check.
I mean, you don't have to. I know you're probably really comfortable on the couch after your day.
It's okay. I'm already up.
Okay. So, for anybody who wants to know, should we talk about our day or our weekend extravaganza? So my 5-year-old is now a 6-year-old. That happened last week, and Josh says you're a hero. I know there's a strawberry one right on top, right?
Oh, yep. I got a lemon one.
Oh,
There's
perfect.
pineapple, but I found a lemon.
Oh, you're the best. You can try it. Does that make it easier? Make it a little more. Does that ease the pain at all?
Yeah, I'll bring it right down to you.
I love you. You're the best. You're way better than Marco.
Bye.
You're way better than Marco.
I actually think you might love Marco more than you love me.
We won't talk about that. See you in a minute.
Bye.
Bye. So my 5-year-old is now a 6-year-old. She had her birthday this week, and then we had like this extravaganza of parties, which evidently is a thing that you do that I am not aware of. There we go. See, she's the best. Do you want to try this? Okay, hang on. We're squishing it up a little bit. All right, so we have our Geist tea, and we're going to put a lemon blocks in it. I love blocks, by the way. For anybody who is listening to this that is a social media person, if you like social media and you like drinking, they are putting out the call for influencers, which I know is a dirty word and kind of weird. There you go. You get the first sip. Reach out to them. I guess look for them on like Instagram or something there. She made a little nose snortle. Guess who's not going to influence for him? Me, because my wife just made funny faces. All right. My wife evidently says no. She kind of tossed it down and then ran away. Okay. I'll be the final judge here. They're putting out the call on their social media to get people to help influence for them. Really strange way to kind of ask for that, but I like blocks, and let's see. It's also hard when it just Like, the blocks are sitting right on top right now. Like, you kind of have to let it. She had some kind of chapstick or something on. Gotta let it kind of melt a little bit, but here, let's see. No, she's wrong. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Oh, no, that's really good. She's way wrong. Point is, get on Instagram or probably Facebook or something and look for blocks. On the blocks, is that their handle? I don't know. And they're looking for people to help kind of get the word out about this. This is not, by the way, sponsored. I'm not influencing for them. This is just me enjoying blocks because I like blocks. I will have an episode of Drinking with the Gnomes soon about blocks. Also not sponsored. With all that being said, I think I should. I believe these were probably free. I don't think I paid for these. I think somebody gave them to me. Somebody from Blocks, but not in a sponsorship kind of way. They did not ask for any kind of payback or anything like that. This is just me just drinking them. It gets really complicated, guys. Marco says, so does Truth or Consequences on the Blocks. Facebook and Instagram, don't think they tweet. Nobody tweets anymore. Tweet is dead. Marco says, I gave them to you. Marco, you have definitely given me some. I believe that these, for the record, just to kind of clarify and to kind of make a picture of what's happening with Blocks, I think I ran into one of the owners of Blocks at By Gollies in Milford for a different event for what's the other the tea guys, oh shit, I should have looked it up. The tea guys, somebody help me out here. I feel terrible. Oh hell, it's not, that's not an important part, but I was there for an event. They were tasting the tea. Turtle Brew. Yeah, Turtle Brews. Thank you, Julia. Jeez. We were there. Turtle Brews was there sampling off some of their tea, bourbon tea stuff, and I was there for that and ran into one of the owners of Blocks. No relation, I don't think. I don't really know. And we started talking, and he sent me home with a whole bunch of blocks. So I believe technically that is where that block came from. Not that any of that is important. They did not sponsor this. They are not asking for publicity. They just wanted me to drink it, and I am. Man, that's complicated. Influencing is weird. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to enjoy a tea with a block in it. My God. All right. So you guys understand what the point of this is, right? We're hanging out, we're drinking together, we're tasting things, and we are talking about all that is happening in Cincinnati beer or beyond. So to start things off, we could talk about kind of the simple stuff. Cincy Brewcast, right on my face. There we go. Cincy Brewcast. This week finally got a show up. Last week didn't happen. I still am hoping that you guys will get a bonus episode here at some point. Just a random middle of the week brewcast. It's in progress, and it's a thing that I'm definitely planning, but it didn't happen this week. But this week's regular episode did happen, and it was biased, but I think it was a good one. We talked to Jason Cerniak from Queen City Brewing Company of Cincinnati in Blue Ash. That's right. They're not that they're back, because they're not. They're dead. And not dead. That's probably not a good way to put it. They closed. They're done. The brewery is closed. It's non-existent. But as people, they still exist, and there are still things that happen with people once a brewery closes. And I think that is important for people to understand, but also kind of fascinating from like a deeper kind of perspective on what's happening, the bigger picture with craft beer and with Cincinnati craft beer too. When a place closes, sometimes it builds like an anger with people about the fact that their idea closed. Sometimes that person goes on and brews somewhere else, and that may influence what they're brewing at that place or what they're trying to push at that place. Sometimes it builds some kind of fire inside them, no matter what they do, about starting something new and rebirthing this idea of a brewery, but better. It's really interesting to me, and there are a lot of people around town. A lot is a relative term. There is a handful of people around town that have that started their life at a brewery that failed, and they are still floating around. That I think have the potential to do something, whether it's their thing or whether it's somebody else's thing, or whether they know it now or they don't. It makes me excited to see what that next stage for some of those people are. And there are some people that started something that didn't work, that will never do it again, that have no desire to ever do it again, and you'll never hear about them again. And then there's those people in between that started something that didn't work, that you will hear about them for a long time, but it will never be their thing again. There's so many different levels and layers to this, and that fascinates me. Jason is a great guy that is always willing to sit down and talk about where he's at any point in time with this whole picture of things. I think, and I know that there are a lot of people that maybe disagree with my stance on Queen City Brewery, but I think that they were a place that did not get their fair shake. I think they started out on the wrong foot, and they the middle of their life was on the wrong foot, and the end of their life was on the wrong foot. I think that they never kind of got that fair shake from a lot of people. I think that people didn't get to see who they really were, and I hope that he is able to do something in his brewing career that showcases that. So hopefully this episode kind of gives you a little peek into that. So if you didn't already listen to this week's Brewcast, do that because it's good stuff. There's some really, really, really interesting content there. There's the episode is up on whatever platform you listen to your podcasts on. Videos are going to start dropping. I believe the first one is up now, but there'll be little clips up on the Cincy Brewcast YouTube page all week. There'll probably be like one clip, probably something short, up on Instagram on the Gnarly Gnomes page, or maybe even on TikTok. I don't know. We'll see. So that's this week's Brewcast. Some good stuff. No drinking with the gnome this week. It's coming. This should be a drinking with the gnome episode. The idea of putting a blocks in tea. Is it a block or a blocks? One blocks. One block of blocks. I don't know. It's good. It's actually really good. Man. Rheingeist nailed Geist tea. It's a hard craft tea. What else does it say? Hard craft black tea with a hint of lemon. It says Geist tea captures the spirit of classic sun-brewed tea from simpler times with a little extra verve. Okay, enjoy. Non-carbonated, sweet enough, 5% ABV, 12 fluid ounces, yada, yada, yada. Oh, this is interesting. I have not noticed this before. This is interesting. This is produced by Rheingeist Brewery in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Wonky, Wisconsin. Wonky. Somebody correct me on my pronunciation of wonky, Wisconsin, but they're contracting. This is not just produced in Cincinnati. That is the first time I've noticed that. Well, I'll be damned, guys. Yeah. Wonky, Wisconsin. Okay. That's an interesting development and that I didn't prepare for. And I don't have any fun little graphics for that. Evidently Rheingeist is not making all of their product. It makes sense. Who is in Wisconsin? Is that that's not Octopi, right? Okay. This catches me off guard. Now I don't know that I love it as much. I appreciate still what they're doing with Geist Tea, but yeah. They're making it somewhere else, guys. That's what we're learning. I mean, I'm sure they're still making it here in Cincinnati, and there is a high likelihood for how close we are, obviously, to the original brewery. This is probably coming from Cincinnati, this can specifically, but wow. Okay. Josh says they say it isn't carbonated, but it definitely is a tad bit. Yeah, I get a little bit of fizz, but not. It's not carbonated. Like it's not fizzy. I think the carbonation that I get is just more of, I guess, stabilization carbonation. That's fun to say. It kind of just is for packaging purposes. It's not really carbonated. It's not a fizzy drink. Julia says it makes total sense for how much they're distributing, in my opinion. Marco says could be. Yeah, I mean, no, it's definitely, there's something happening that they have not talked about. We'll see. We'll talk about it this week, maybe. There's a lot of stuff this week we have to talk about, so I don't know if I'm going to have time to ping Rheingeist and to kind of poke at him about this. If I had noticed that before the last time I sat down with them, I would have asked, but I didn't. This is literally the first time I've noticed. We'll talk about that probably next week, maybe sometime in between. We'll talk about it. In the meantime, there are so many things that we need to talk about this week, and we're already, 25 minutes into the show that is not a show yet, but there's a lot of stuff. Let's just start off the bat. This guy right here, if you guys don't know him, this is Sean. He makes beer for Bad Tom. He has made beer for Bad Tom since day one, sort of. He was partnered up with some people day one. Things shifted around, and he is now their head brewer. Great guy. And if you see what he's standing next to there, it is cans. They are finally putting their beer into cans. They have literally been working on this for years. I've artwork, several different versions of artwork that have kind of passed through over the years of things that they were kind of planning and that didn't follow through and whatever. Between them, so they were expanding the brewery when it was in its original location. And that kind of threw the canning plans off a little bit. Then they were opening up the new tap room in Madisonville, which threw the plans off. And then there was an ownership change again after the original ownership change. That threw the plans off a little bit. They are finally on track now with the new ownership to finally start making some cans and start rolling them out there. They are going to start off with Don Fernando. Julia says, I just want another badass beer fest. I loved that festival. It was great. They're starting off with their Don Fernando. It's a Mexican lager, around 5.5%. They're going to follow it up with their Jackie Blue, the Bad Tom Brown, and then Hazy River, which it was originally, I believe, a collaboration with Alexandria. Evidently, it's not anymore. They just keep making the beer and don't shout out Alexandria at all, even though I was there when they made that first batch. It was a collaboration, very much collaboration. Alexandria should get a shout out every time they make that beer, but whatever. That's a very different conversation. But making cans, or not making the cans, they're filling the cans. You can see them there. There's the cans. It's going to happen soon. You guys will start seeing Bad Tom on shelves. I'm excited to see it. Bad Tom is not the best brewery in the city, but I don't think that they've gotten their fair shake in the same way that Queen City, I don't think, ever got theirs. Bad Tom is not bad. Like there's some stuff that comes out of there that is good. It's a very cheesy way to say it, but I hope that this ownership change and some of the other shifts and changes that I know that they're working on, I hope that all kind of works out and they get this kind of new life and kind of a rebirth here in town, because they deserve it. They've been around for a long time. What is it, 2012 maybe? I mean, I think that they are one of the older breweries in town at this point. They definitely were open before a lot of the places that we know and love today. So they deserve a visit one way or another. And I know that there are a lot of people that have a lot of negative things to say about them, and some of them are deserved, and some of them aren't. We're going way into the weeds with this one. This is supposed to be a short little news blip. The second one, though, Northwood Cider. Oh, I'm so glad I finally made it out to this place over in Norwood. So the guy one of the guys that opened this used to have a brewery down in Kentucky. If we want a short little story, my mother-in-law, her and my father-in-law are in some kind of car club, and they take their car with their other car friends and go drive around and stuff. It's a very old person thing, whatever. They go and they drive around and like hang out. They were down in Kentucky at this place, and most of the people in the car club are not drinkers. My mother-in-law, she enjoys like a nice cold beer every once in a while. Just one beer, and it has to be super cold, but she enjoys it. And she was down there, and it was hot, and she needed to go have a cold beverage. And her and one of the other ladies snuck away to go grab a cold beer somewhere. And they snuck away to a brewery. And that brewery was probably right about that time was in the middle of an ownership change. One of the owners moved up here to northern Kentucky to take a job at a school here in town as a professor. And with that, he also decided to start something else. And he started looking at, him and his partners started looking at kind of what was happening. And there are not many cities the size of Cincinnati, and especially with a beer scene the way Cincinnati has, that do not also have a dedicated cidery. So with that, Northwood was born. They started making cider, real cider. It's from actual juice. We're not talking about concentrates or some kind of weird syrup or anything like that. It's actual cider. They're not pressing their own apples, but to give you kind of a picture, they when they need a new batch of juice, they call one of their producers, and they tell them they need juice. They then go get apples and squish them and package up the juice in a semi truck and send it over. And it takes like a couple weeks from the time they say, "Hey, we need juice," for them to actually get the apple juice, because it is done like right then. Like you're not like getting some kind of prepackaged box of syrup. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it does make a very different product. And the product that they're making over there is fantastic. Like really, really good cider. They have a full range of everything from dry to semi-dry to sweet to some kind of weird stuff. There's some dry hop stuff. There's some fruited stuff. There's when I was there, and this is not a thing that's gonna be on all the time. You can see it at the very end of the flight, not very well, but it was called Cafe. So one of their production people, and I cannot remember her name for the life of me. She made this cider that she infused coffee with it, and then added some condensed milk and something else, and it was like this weird coffee milk apple thing that was probably one of my favorite things that I've drank in a very long time. It was especially really good after having like a glass of cider before it, and then you just take a big swig of that, and man, it was good. It was really, really good stuff. Really interesting, really different than anything else that's happening in town right now. That makes me happy. Marco says milk is always optional. Not in this specifically. You cannot order that cider without the milk because it's in the keg. There's nothing you can do. But it was good, and it's an example, we'll say, of what they're doing. There are plenty of things without lactose that you could have that were delicious. Their dry cider, like, man, it was good. Like, it was really, really good. I could have just sat there and drank that all night long. The dry hops was great. They had something with like some kind of like tart cherry something or other that so good. Like they're I'm excited to have them in town. They're in a perfect spot. They're in Norwood. They're going to be canning too. That's probably kind of the bigger reason why I dropped them into the news list this week, is that the tap room and the production facility, it was all loaded with cans because they're going to be sending them out to distro, and you can get them in the tap room very soon. I'll probably be talking about it soon. Marco says putting lactose in cider. This was a taproom only cider. This was not something that they're going to put in cans, or this is it's very different. It's a coffee like a Starbucks drink. It's not a real. I mean, it was good. It was really good. Oh, you guys can't see. I always forget that I need to fix that. When I have the artwork up on the screen, you can't see the chat here too. I'll fix that for next week. All right, let's keep moving because there are some big things we got to talk about. MadTree, Bonanza. We're headed right into Bonanza week. This weekend, they are celebrating their 10th anniversary, which is just stupid crazy to think about. They are doing a big party in the tap room there on Madison. If you guys have not been to the MadTree tap room, what are you doing? It is on Saturday, 2/25. That is the 25th of this month, from 11 a.m. There is an event going on before that is ticketed only, but open to the public from 11 a.m. until, I believe, 2 a.m. And there's all kinds of crap going on, all kinds of fun events. They're going to have guest taps in addition to some rare stuff from them. But the guest taps alone, off the top of my head, I have notes, but I'm just going to pretend. Off the top of my head, we've got Little Fish, we have Yellow Springs, Esoteric, Fatheads, Warped Wing, Rheingeist, Jackie O's, Creature Comforts, Yazoo, Urban Artifact, Seventh Son, Sonder, and Columbus Brewing Company. That's just guest taps. That's not even counting like the fun stuff that they're going to pull out of barrels or pull out of, small batch stuff that they're going to do. Some really fun beers. Food, not only is Catch a Fire going to be there, they're going to have stuff from the Alcove. So if you've never eaten at the Alcove, you know that they have some really, really crazy kind of brunch things that they do. They're going to be there for brunch, which is obviously in the morning. They're going to have Red Sesame there, Wicked Hickory, Also, in the evening, something that gets me excited, Skyline is going to be there. I love Skyline. My family loves Skyline. Unfortunately, I will not be there in the evening. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it at all, but in the evening, we have, in my household, the very first daddy-daughter dance. I have to put a suit back on for the first time since I quit my job and told myself that I was never going to work for somebody else and never put on a suit again. I realized just now that I got to put one on again. So we have daddy-daughter dance, so I cannot go in the evening. However, both of my kids would have loved to go there in the evening and eat some Skyline and watch daddy drink beer. They're going to have live music. Also, it's going to be all day. So they have a Prina Love, Floyd and the Walkmen. They're going to have karaoke during the day, I believe, just in one of the party room kind of things. Either they call it the Oakley room there, which is the one right kind of off of the beer garden, or the barrel room. There's also a DJ that's going to be playing during the day, but just live music, fun stuff. It's 10 years. It's wild to think that they've been around that long. It's also really, really crazy to think about what the next 10 years are going to look like for them. I mean, this, if you think about, I mean, 10 years is a long time, but if you package into that 10 years this expansion into 2.0, which sets them up for a long time. Like, they don't have to, production-wise, they don't have to expand at all from here for probably ever if they don't want to. If you throw that into the mix and then also throw COVID into that and what that means for the lifespan or the personality of a brewery, you put those into that, my God. Like, this 10 years has been insane. And so what they have the potential to do in the next 10 years is hard to understand. For me, it's really weird to think about. Let's keep moving because we are just about 40 minutes. So we're running long tonight. This next one is a good one. 50 West. My God, 50 West. So I have not written about this yet on the blog because I have a lot to say about this. And I'm going to kind of give it a minute for everybody else to kind of put their thing out there into the universe. And then I'm going to kind of talk about my stance on what this means. You'll get a peek at that, obviously, right now. But this is insane. This project, I mean, the picture that's up here right now is a pretty good one to give you kind of an impression of which direction it's over here. Oh, there it is. Like, if you look at that, it's a burger bar. Like, it is very very similar to what you've kind of come to know and love about the burger bar in Marymount. Actually, I should probably move this screen right there so that I can just kind of look over at it. And it looks like I'm looking at it, even though I'm not. It's a burger bar on steroids. So there's I should probably put all the pictures in here so I could kind of scroll through them, but I didn't. But whatever. There's in the back of it. If you look kind of in the back, over kind of back in the back, there's volleyball courts. There are pickleball courts. There is a massive, like, this far side over here is a massive kind of covered patio. There's open patio on the other side there. And it's all part of a bigger kind of development that they're doing there in Deerfield Township. That, of course, there's a Dora district there. There's a Pins Mechanical coming in up there. A big, giant park that's going to be part of it. Like an entire acre park in the center of the development. There's going to be all kinds of, like, shops and bars. They're calling them chef-driven restaurants, so like good food. So you're not talking about like chain kind of places, like actual restaurants of things that are exciting, with like dining outside on sidewalks and things like that. It's gonna be intense, and this is the next phase of 50 West, and man, it's not on 50. Which I think some people are going to get a little pissed off about the branding behind it. It makes some of the comments that Bobby and Max made on the last episode of the Brewcast that they were on make a little more sense. Man, I just look this way. I'm excited about that. That looks like a ton of fun. Great location, really close to Cider. Down the road from Common and 16 Lots, and that whole side of town is really, really cool now. It kind of sits, so you've got on kind of the far side you have Common Beer Company, and then you come back a little bit and you have Warped Wing, and you have 16 Lots, and then you come back a little bit more and you have Cider, and then you come back a little bit more and you have this new 50 West, and then you come back a little bit more and go over and you have Grainworks, and you come down and you've got Dogberry, and then you have the other Cider tap room, and it's the northern suburbs of the city are freaking awesome. And it's not slowing down at all. It's becoming as concentrated as OTR is, if not more, as far as breweries. Definitely more, actually, the more I think about it. I'm pumped about it. I'm excited. I love 50, and I love what they're doing. It's going to be good stuff. I hope that everybody kind of understands and appreciates what's happening up there, and stops and kind of visits and becomes a part of this new expansion of Cincinnati beer. Let's keep moving. Internet's giving me a little bit of trouble tonight. Hopefully everything looks and sounds okay for you guys. This one I'm pumped about. I talked about it a little bit. I don't know how many of you kind of caught on when I talked about it, because I wasn't super loud about it. This hand-picked series from Braxton. So out of the Barrel House, they're doing some barrel-aged sour things. This is only the second one. The first one was a blueberry sour, which was incredible. It was delicious, and you can search on the website or wherever, and you'll find something about it where I talked about it, because it was really good. Strawberry. I love strawberry in beer. This is a strawberry barrel-aged sour. With it, they're also releasing a saison, a Brett saison that was aged a year in oak barrels. I'm pumped about it. I think it's going to be delicious. It releases on the 25th, which I believe is Saturday, without looking at a calendar. Get there, get this. I'm telling you, it is going to be top notch. They are. I know that Braxton gets a little bit of crap from people for lots of different reasons, but this beer should not be one of those reasons. There it is. Looks delicious. Get there, get you some. I know there's a lot of things happening this weekend, but just get you some, because that first one was really, really, really good. This next one, and we can probably cut it off at this one. We could talk about the last one if we want to, but this one, I'm still torn on what this means or what to say about it. Cerveceria Ortega. So, the Cincy Brewing Company out of Lockland, the very end of January, posted something on their social media and said, "Hey, we're going to be closed this weekend. We're doing some remodeling," which is fine. That's great. There's a neat tap room. There's plenty of space to kind of improve things. Then the next weekend, somebody said, "Hey, are you guys going to be open?" And they responded, "Nope, we're not going to be open this weekend either. Still working on a remodeling." The following weekend, somebody said, "Hey, are you going to be open this weekend?" And they said, "No, looks like we are actually going to be open, or we're going to be closed the entire month of February for our big remodeling." As it turns out, as I kind of was afraid of at that time. Sorry, I'm rebooting the chat because I was having a couple problems there. We'll fix that. As I was a little bit afraid of when I heard that they were closing for, an entire month, they sold. Somebody bought them. I don't know who. And I don't know what it means, other than the fact that they are now rebranding. The new name is Cerveceria Ortega, and they are focusing on Mexican lagers. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. The website, which I'm looking at right now, just says authentic cervezas. And they have a picture of a guy in the ocean with a surfboard, and he's holding a can of beer, and it says Ortega. Brewed with passion and tradition, Cincinnati's only cerveceria. Cervezas. And this is just a quick list of some of the beers that they expect to serve. Mexican lager. This is not an actual website, by the way. This is just kind of a temporary holding website that should not even be live to the world, because Beer 1 says Mexican lager, beer description. Beer 2 is Mexican lager, beer description. 3, Mexican lager. Beer 4, Mexican. You guys get with this. It's all Mexican lagers. Is the only thing that's listed on the beer list. Then they have a link for private events, and the address and a phone number, which is not a local phone number. And then an email. Marco says, so will they have Mexican lager? They will. I'm going to say they will probably have a light Mexican lager, probably a dark Mexican lager, probably one with lime. And other than that, we'll see. We also don't know. I say we loosely. Somebody does. I don't know who owns it anymore. I will hopefully reach out in the next couple days about the previous owners of Cincy Brewing Company and kind of see if they are willing to or able to talk about anything. We don't know who owns it. Don't know who's going to long-term make the beer. I know short-term who is kind of changing things over and helping the transition. I can't imagine that he is going to hang out there for a long time. I think this is a transitional step, I guess, while he's waiting for his thing to get up and running. But Marco says, or once they start, will it change to IPA? Maybe Mexican IPA. IPA Mexican lager. I think you're onto something. So that's big kind of news, I guess. It makes me a little sad. I wish there was a little more warning leading up into it, but you gotta do what you gotta do, and I'm not gonna fault anybody for doing what they want to do. But it's not a bad idea. Mexican lagers are fine. It's definitely a trend. It's a thing, and they're delicious. But we better put a kitchen in. I'm gonna say that, and that kitchen sure as shit better give me tacos and a Mexican lager. That's all I'll say. We'll see. I'm hopefully gonna talk to some people about it soon. Hopefully, we'll either way, we'll talk about it again on this show that is not a show. We'll talk next week about the other story because we're already way over on time. But it's nothing that can't wait. well, I mean, it's good stuff, pickle beer, but we'll pass it off on until next week. Other than that, that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me so much. This thing is fun, and there's some growth stuff that's going to happen with the Weekly Pint that hopefully everybody enjoys and appreciates and understands. It'll still be the same thing, but hopefully we'll get some more people listening to it. For all of you who support this show or any of the shows or any of the things that I do by going to thegnarlygnome.com/support, thank you. I've been working my butt off this week. I probably should have pulled some of the stuff in here to kind of show it off, but we are putting together the first edition of Nomi boxes. So we'll talk about that a little bit, just to make sure nobody is misunderstanding what is happening with these. For this first year, everybody who is at the $10 level or above is getting both boxes. Going forward, if you want both of the boxes, you have to be the top tier or the $10 tier. The first box is the big box. That is normally going to be just for the top tier or the top tier. We'll put it that way for now. That one comes out in March, right around Patty's Day, which is the anniversary of Cincy Brewcast. And that is going to be, to me, the better box. It's going to have more stuff, more expensive things, exclusive things that you can't get anywhere else. Just really, really good stuff. Not that the other one's not, but that's the big one. That goes out around Patty's Day. Everybody, middle tier or above, $10 up. Everybody's getting that this year. The later box, which comes out kind of in the fall, that is the just for normal life, just $10 or above. That one comes out, and it'll have more kind of just Nomi swag. So t-shirts, hats, things like that are branded for me. There may be other kind of fun stuff thrown in there, maybe, but it also won't be as expensive as the big one. If you are one of those people that subscribes to the top tier, you'll get both of those boxes every year. If you are the $10 tier, you get both this year. Next year, you'll just get the second one. I hope that makes sense. I hope it makes sense to everybody. I've been working my butt off trying to put this thing together and trying to make it make sense, and trying to put together swag that's kind of special for both tiers. I can't do it every month, obviously, but I think a couple times a year we're able to do some stuff that's kind of fun, be it stuff from other breweries or exclusive things that doesn't exist outside of the club, or kind of the first showcase of things I'm working on, which I'm always trying to test out and play around with new designs and new swag things, new brands even. Like there's some really cool stuff that's in the works. I have an entire separate website that I've been kind of starting to build, that has a whole brand associated with it that will be coming in the next year or two ish. And Nomies will get the first shot at some of that stuff, the first peek at some of that stuff. I think it's cool stuff. So hopefully you guys appreciate all of that, and I appreciate you being a part of all of this. So thank you very much for those of you who do support that way. If you want to, gnarlygnome.com/support. If you just want to support some other way, go into any YouTube video that I've posted. There's links in there to Amazon affiliate stuff. If you click on those and purchase stuff, even if it's not the actual thing that it's linked, just click on it and then go to something else and purchase it. That helps me a little bit. If you buy pretzels through the link that's in those videos, go to pretzels.com, use the code GNOME. Obviously, Manscaped, you guys listen to the Brewcast, know about Manscaped sponsoring us. Although I didn't put a commercial into this week. That's a long story. Go to manscaped.com, promo code GNOME, and you can support that way. Pretzels, I messed that one up. It's GNOME20 is the promo code on that. I'm going to have a page up with all of like the promo code stuff that you can get discounts. All of those little things, that's what keeps this running. That's what makes it able to happen. I don't know an easy way to explain that to people, but without people supporting, some of this stuff just doesn't make sense. But if people are supporting, all of a sudden, we can sacrifice a little bit of time out of the work week to make some of these shows or videos or podcasts or whatever it may be. Speaking of podcasts, I'm working on a thing. I'm really far off on it, so don't get too excited yet. But I'm working on a thing that is going to be really cool, and I'm going to be talking to a lot of you about it because it's going to be some cool stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to go and I'm going to drink my blocks tea, and I'm going to go thank my wife for bringing me the blocks because I know that she just desperately wanted to sit down and relax. I don't think I ever finished the story. We had like a sleepover last night with a bunch of cousins, and so it was just a house full of girls that get really loud and want to stay up late, and I just kind of dumped it all on my wife since I had to work today, so kind of a jerk. So she's a saint, and she had a long day. So hopefully they're upstairs asleep. We'll see, but thank you guys. We'll be back next week with more of the best and breaking and exciting and fun Cincinnati beer news, views, opinions, thoughts, and obviously the drinks. Next week, same place, same spot. We'll see you guys then. Thank you for hanging out. See you later. Cheers, everybody. The Blocks Geist tea just is in a perfect spot right now. The blocks are all melted. There's just a couple chunks of ice. Oh, so good. Get some blocks, put it in your Geist tea. Makes it better.